Honey, sit down close. Let me tell you something. Life doesn't always go the way we plan, and sometimes the people we love the most, they surprise us in ways we don't expect. My daughter, sweet little Maggie, she had always been the light of my home. Bright, cheerful, always running around, helping neighbors, baking pies, making everyone smile. And then, one cold winter evening, she fell ill. I remember getting that phone call. My heart, oh, it sank. The hospital, the doctors, the blinking lights. It all felt like some nightmare you can't wake up from. And there I was, old bones and trembling hands, trying to pull myself together. Her brother, my son, well, he didn't come. Not that day, not that night. He had excuses, reasons, busy with his own life, and I was left to be strong for both of them. We waited in that hospital room, the smell of antiseptic and the beeping. Machines listening to her quiet breaths. I held her hand, talked to her like she was a little girl again, telling stories of when she was 3 and hid my knitting in the garden. I could see the fear in her eyes, but I whispered, "Mamas, here, sugar, I'm right here." And for that moment, that tiny flicker of comfort, it was enough, being there, watching your child in pain and knowing the one who should be there. Isn't it teaches you something hard about life? My son, bless him, maybe he didn't understand. Maybe he thought the hospital was a place for him to avoid. But every time I looked at Maggie, I thought about what it means to show up, to be present, even when it's uncomfortable. I remembered the nights I stayed awake, humming old lullabies I used to sing to her. I remembered the first time she walked into kindergarten, nervous and clutching my hand. All of those moments, they came back to me. And I realized life is fleeting. People may disappoint, but love is what holds us together. I also talked to Maggie about her brother gently. "Sweetheart," I said, "sometimes people get wrapped up in their own storms. It doesn't mean they don't care. It just means they're learning their own way." And we shared stories, laughed a little, cried a little, and it made the hospital room feel less like a prison and more like a cocoon dot. By the second day, I noticed the nurses nodding to me. They could see my love, my patience, my persistence. I told Maggie, "You see, darling, strength isn't about how big your arms are. It's about the courage to keep going when the world feels heavy." And she squeezed my hand, that tiny hand that had once held my finger as a baby. I also wrote letters to her brother while sitting by her bedside. Not angry letters, mind you, but letters that came from a place of honesty. I told him what happened, how Maggie felt, and how I tried to hold them both up. Writing them helped me release some of the bitterness that threatened to fill my heart. And then, little by little, things started to shift. Maggie began to smile more, laugh more, even while hooked up to IVs and monitors. And I realized life is full of moments like this, moments of waiting, of pain, of disappointment, but also moments of love, teaching, and resilience taught by the final part of our hospital journey. Maggie was getting better. Her spirit, bright as ever, reminded me why we fight, why we wait, why we love. And one afternoon, her brother arrived. He looked sheepish, worn out, but he came. No excuses, just presence. And I held my breath as they met, a little awkward at first, but then he hugged her, and she hugged back. I told myself then, and I tell you now, life is never perfect. People will let you down, children will stumble, families will struggle. But love is bigger than all the anger, the fear, the distance. And sometimes just showing up, even late, is enough to start healing. We walked out of that hospital together, 3 hearts, bruised but stronger. And I whispered to Maggie, "Life will test us, sugar, but it will also remind us how strong we are when we stand together." And that, my dear, is the story I wanted to share with you tonight. A story of patience, forgiveness, courage, and the enduring power of a mother's love.